America ramps up efforts to prevent the collapse of Israeli-Palestinian talks and to ensure Israel goes through with a Palestinian prisoner release. In Turkey, at least 8 people are dead in violent incidents that erupted during local elections thought to determine the political future of Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan. And U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry meets Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in an effort to resolve the standoff between the two superpowers. Welcome back to the news today. This is the Daily Debate. For Arab Israelis, March 30th is recognized as Land Day, a pivotal event in the struggle over land and in the relationship of Arab citizens to the Israeli state. 38 years ago today, the Israeli government announced a plan to expropriate thousands of acres of land for security and settlement purposes. As a response, a general strike was announced and marches were organized in Arab towns from the north to the south. In the fallout of the day, 6 Arab citizens were killed and about 100 were wounded. Since then, March 30th is marked not only by Arab Israelis, but also by Palestinians around the world. But what does it mean today to the younger generation for the Israelis? With me is Dr. Mordachai Kedar, Director of the Center for Middle East and Islam Studies. Good evening.
Good evening.
And Bashar, Iraqi advisor to Israeli Parliament member, Isawi Farij. Good evening. Bashar, what does it mean for the Israeli Arab youngsters inside Israel today?
Well, I'm going to start with the definition that the term that you're using, actually, with calling us Arabs, Israelis or Arab Israelis. Land Day events and Land Day as the historical event that happened in '76. Today we commemorate something that happens usually and daily. We are trying to remember what happened of the confiscation of lands back 38 years ago, and the fact that the country doesn't see us as equals in treatment and ideology. And I will connect this to the fact that Palestinians living in Israel started to reshape the identity of the minority and to be more connected to the nation of Palestinians and Arabs in general, starting in '76, after they massively went out to the streets, and the first serious clashes happened with the country, and 6 were killed and hundreds were arrested and hundreds were wounded as well. So Land Day is less of just a historical event. It's more of a reminder to what's happening on a daily basis in many places around the cities of Palestinian Arabs living in Israel.
Basically bringing up again the question of minorities in Israel and social and rights and political rights and the rights that an individual minority has in this country.
And I would emphasize that another significant point is the identities that is being shaped by the Palestinians, that has been going through different stages and different definitions all through the last 65 years. Land Day was one of these events that set a certain tone to the identity of this minority in Israel.
Dr. Kedar, there is maybe no doubt that there is let's say, racism against the minority, the Arab minority in Israel. There is a lack of equal rights between the Israeli Jews and the Israeli Arabs.
Within the Jews, there are problems.
This is another another subject. But if we're looking between the Israeli Arabs and the Jewish Israelis, there is big differences, huge differences between these two societies. And the rights that they have in the country.
Mr. Iraqi talked about discrimination against Palestinians. Are you Palestinian?
I'm very Palestinian. I didn't talk about discrimination.
Would you please explain to the audience what your name means, Al-Iraqi?
Bashar Iraqi means Bashar al-Iraqi.
Means that your family came from, originally from?
No. Iraqi al-Manshi, which is immigrated in '48, which is Kiryat Gat today. You're a doctor, you should know history.
Okay, there are people in Jaljulia named Iraqi who are from Iraq. Al-Horani, Palestinians, where are they from?
That is a very logical
Al-Sorani, where are they from? Al-Masri,
This is how you're going to defend the reputation. This is how you're going to defend the reputation of the state of Israel. No, I will interrupt you when you say something like that.
I did not interrupt you. Will you please? No, will you please let me speak?
That's a point. That's a point. That's a point that is not connected.
Will you please behave?
No, don't cross the line.
No, I'm not crossing any line. I'm talking about facts. Only facts. Here, what you call the Palestinian people in Israel, many of them, I would say even most of them, are not originally Palestinians.
So
they came from all over the Middle East. Wait, Al-Masri means from Egyptian, Masarwa, Al-Hurani, Al-Sorani, Dibini, Zarqawi, and Iraqi.
Give me a
so
solid
many.
point. What is the point?
All of a sudden, Palestinians, where
this is the
did they
same.
come
Jews
from?
came from all over. The shattered nation of Jews came.
No, we came back to our country, which was promised to us by the League of Nations in 1920. In 1920,
I have a higher voice.
You don't.
I have a higher voice. You don't need to scream. That's not the point. That we came from different places.
You deny.
I don't deny anything. You're denying that I'm a Palestinian.
Gentlemen, you're not
denying I'm a Palestinian.
You deny the decisions of the United
Who's denying anything? We're talking about Land Day. Focus on Land Day.
Which gave the Jews.
Gentlemen, you are not respecting. Gentlemen, you're not respecting. Gentlemen,
I'm saying I'm a Palestinian.
Just 1 second.
And being a Palestinian has nothing to do with where I came from originally 100 or 1,000 years ago.
You're not respecting the host of the show.
To rewrite history.
You're not respecting the host of the show, with all due respect to you too. So gentlemen, please, one by one, because if you want our viewers to hear you and if you want me to hear you, please, let's do it one by one. Finish your arguments, then you can. These are the rules. Then you can answer the arguments.
Okay, let me finish, please. There is the biggest invention of the 20th century is the Palestinian people. There is not even one book which was printed more than 80 years ago, which talks about these people. Not even one newspaper. Nowhere in the world, even, Palestinians. Who was the king of the Palestine 80 years ago and before? What was the coin of the Palestinians in this country? This is an invention. And let me ask you, if the Palestinians, if the so-called Palestinians had the right to have a state here, why didn't Jordan, which occupied the West Bank for 19 years, between 48 and 67, why didn't the Jordanians give you a state in the West Bank? And why didn't the Egyptians who occupied Gaza between 40 and 67, didn't you give you a state? When they could, only when the Jews liberated, the Jews liberated the country, which was given to them by the League of Nations in 1920. Only then, there is a Palestinian nation all of a sudden, and they're right.
I never saw you that so enthusiastic. Let me make your life a little bit harder. Okay, you're talking about the facts. Okay, the facts that you are bringing. Okay, because the other side may see different facts.
Myths.
The other side may see different facts, Dr. Kedar. But my question is, what do you do right now with the 2 million, the 3 million who are living here and are feeling Palestinians? What are you going to do with them? What do you do with their feelings?
Those who are citizens in Israel have the full rights in Israel according to what they do, because they don't serve in the army, they don't serve in civil service even. And listen to this, the discrimination which Mr. Iraqi is talking about. 90% of the Arabs live in houses, while 10% in apartments. Within the Jews, 90% live in apartments, while only 10% are living in houses.
Yeah, but there's 80 versus 20%.
Isn't this some kind of discrimination against Jews?
There's 80 versus 20%. There's 20% are Israeli Arabs, and there is 80%
No, I'm talking about
Jews.
percentage. Most of the Arabs live in houses, while Jews are living in apartments.
Now,
what is better discrimination against the Jews?
Dr. Kedar, did I let you give your arguments?
Definitely.
Please.
Definitely.
Mr. Iraqi, please.
Mr. Iraqi has a lot to say. First, I didn't talk about discrimination. I was invited, la ahlan wa la sahlan, with people who think like you. I wasn't invited to talk about my identity as a Palestinian.
But I said the truth.
Yeah, of course you said the truth. You're Jewish. You only say the truth.
You cannot face.
Now, I was invited to talk about Land Day. In 67 and 76, excuse me, I was a citizen of Israel. The fact that I say I'm a Palestinian, and I am a Palestinian, that has nothing to do, it doesn't change the fact that I was a citizen in 76 when Israel,
citizen.
yes, an Israeli citizen,
Good.
fully.
Good.
And Israel decided to confiscate 60,000 dunams owned by us. This is why we have big houses. This land wasn't owned by you in 48. You belong to this land. You have a right to be in this land according to your religion, faith. I recognize that. That's not my problem with you. My problem with you and with the rest of people who think, sickly think, the Zionist ideology of that this is ours, you don't belong to this,
It was
and now you're
given to
trying
us.
to read. Man,
By the nations.
I try to respect the rules.
1920.
I'm very good in breaking
Face
rules.
it.
It's very easy to break rules, especially with people who talk like you.
Come on, be
Now,
a gentleman. Gentlemen, be gentlemen, please.
My point to you, Mr. Kedar, I don't know why you're so nervous trying to defend Israel in this way. I'm doing a better way defending the state and the people who believe in justice and humanity who live in Israel.
Justice?
And you are failing big time. Now,
Not at all.
Now, this is not
Justice
what I expect
was
someone who's holding a
done
PhD.
by
Come
the
on.
return of Jews to their homeland, to their
The
forefathers'
Jews return.
land.
The Jews
There are
return to
some
their
tribes
homelands.
who try to
The Jews
deny
return
our
to their
right
homelands. Nobody's
because
denying
they are
your right.
Muslims,
You're denying
and according
yourself.
to Islam,
You're denying others.
according to Islam,
Nobody's
Jews have
talking
no
about
right to
Islam.
live
I'm not
as
talking about. Talk to me.
independent.
Talk to me. Don't talk
Yes.
about anyone else you visited before, you spoke
right,
before.
right.
Argue with Bashar Iraqi, who is
Nah.
easily can break your argument with all
at all.
the false facts you're saying. I did not say you don't belong to this place. I did not say you don't have a right to live
what
in this
is
place.
this? So what is
this is
this?
historical Palestine.
Palestine, the whole kind. Yes, and this is the
of course.
PLO.
حط
Where is
إيدك على
Israel?
راسك.
If this is
Put your
Palestine.
hand on your head, respect to the map of historical Palestine. This is how you
Yes,
should.
what is the,
This is historical Palestine.
includes Jordan and belongs to the Jews.
Doesn't include. Oh my God, man!
This was what's given by the League of Nations to the Jews. What do you want?
Do you teach
Face it.
people? Do you teach
This-
people? Do you teach people?
Look at the San
Do you
Remo
teach
decisions.
people?
Look at the San Remo
Do you
decisions
teach
of
people?
the League of Nations. Of course, you can ignore
I
it.
really hope that he
because
doesn't
it
teach
want
people,
to-
Lucy. This is something that is
San
beyond
Remo
funny. That's a
Convention,
circus.
San Remo Convention
Do you-
decided to give
You saying
Palestine to
they-
the Jews. Fact.
Who decided to give Palestine to the Jews?
It is fait accompli.
Who
Okay,
decided
I'm
this?
The League of
I am
Nations.
going
League of
to-
Nations.
Yes, and then the United Nations
I am
embraced
going
it.
to take
Yes,
my-
face it.
Man,
I am going
I
to
don't
take,
need to do the job because
I
you're
am going to
embarrassing
take
yourself.
again my role as the anchor of this show, and I'm going to ask you, these are the facts. The fact is the reality that Jews and Arabs are living in this country. The facts are that there is discrimination in this country. You
Sure.
cannot ignore it.
If
you
I
cannot
think
say
about marrying
that there
another
is
wife, I'll be
no-
put in jail. If an Arab does it, the country pays him.
There
not
is
true.
there is
That is
no.
not true.
As
God's in the
I
Negev.
am-
How many thousands of polygamous
There are-
families
That
are,
they do it
and
illegally.
the,
Just a second,
and the
just
country,
a
the
second.
country pays for
There
this.
is-
You know
there
they do it
is-
illegally.
Just a second. There
They
is
should be in
this-
jail.
Just a second. There is a discrimination inside the Jewish society against the Jewish society. Okay?
Okay, so
there
then-
is discrimination against Ethiopians in the Israeli society, against Russians in
Listen,
the
we're not
Israeli
talking about the
society.
subject.
And of course, there is discrimination against the Israeli Arab, the,
The
biggest
Israeli
minority
society-
in Israel.
the Israeli society,
This
the whole
is the
mosaic.
fact. Now I'm asking you, both, these two people and we are in this table living together. Now, you gentlemen, very intelligent, give me a solution. How can these two people actually live in this land? Because nobody is going to go anywhere.
People
We
can
vote-
live
Ja-
together, Lucy. People can live together. Ideologies that conflict. And the people that think they are superior because they are Jews are the ones I
Did
have
I
a
say
serious
superior?
problem.
Did I say superior?
You're
Just
talking
a
like one.
second.
No, you-
You're talking
Right, this is your
as if I don't
problem.
as if I don't
Kedar,
exist.
I swear, I will give you your turn.
Okay.
And I have learned that people can live together. Even religions can live together. It depends how you see things. And again, I want to go back to the subject of Land Day. That's a day where people were killed, just like in 2000. Citizens of Israel. You know what? Don't call them
right.
Arabs.
Not right. They
Don't-
shouldn't have been killed.
You should have said
Just a
that
second.
before you tried to delegitimize my identity as a Palestinian. How I define myself, and I will define
Because I
myself
have-
the way I want,
because I
that
have
is not
only-
subject
You can
to your
define yourself.
decision,
Okay.
but your
Now,
government or your nation
Dr.
or your
Kedar, now
biblical
you
right.
answer,
You don't
It
have-
doesn't
you have-
work
can define
anything
yourself the way
towards
you
No,
like.
how
I
I
will
see
literally
myself.
get up of my chair. We have only 2 minutes, so I want
Wow.
Dr. Kedar, please answer.
I have nothing against self-definition. The only thing is that others should also let the Jews to self-define them and to have the rights over their forefathers' land. And those who deny our rights because Islam doesn't view us as people who are allowed to have a land at all, we should live as Ahl Dhimma under the rule of Islam. And we are not a nation but a community, as many Palestinians say. And the whole Palestine is an Waqf land according to Islam. And here you have to face your own people, your people, and not my people.
You cannot answer because I have 10 seconds. You will continue, of course.
Dr. Mordechai, you've been brainwashed, I guess, because this is
no,
not...
I'm reading your sources. I'm reading what you are writing.
I have 1 minute.
I'm reading what the Muslims are writing.
You can read whatever you want.
Yes, in Arabic.
These two men are not respecting a woman who is hosting this show. Gentlemen, at least give me the respect, gentlemen, of a woman between two men. Be gentlemen. Thank you very much, both of you, for coming to the studio. We're going out for a small break, 2 minutes break, and then we will be back for the I-24 News One-on-One. Don't go anywhere. It's hot in here.